Hey, hey, hey. That was super nerdy of me. But I'm super nerdy, so there you go. I'm excited to talk to everybody today. I missed you last week, even though it was my birthday, so that was fun. So, I mean, it was a really good day, but I still missed you guys. And so begins me constantly touching my hair. I'm going to try not to do that. Hello, I see somebody's here. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's freezing here. Freezing. I'm pretty much over it. But our snow is melting very rapidly, so that's good. So I'm ready for some spring weather. Hello, Kate. How are things going? How's your baby? I know I can always count on you, Kate. Like when you're on vacation, you come on my life. Hi, Sue. Sue's another one of my faithful people I can always count on to be here. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I cannot believe we got I think it was around 3 inches of snow yesterday, that fell, but it didn't all stick. But it's still this morning. I expected to get up this morning and for it to be all melted, and it wasn't. The ground was all still covered, everything. And so I was like, oh, come on. So when I left this morning for Bible study, it was I think 33 degrees. Oh, stop. You do too. What is it right now? It's only 39 right now, but it says it feels like 30 because it's really windy out. But I'm like, yuck. I love snow, but I don't want it right now. It's mid-April. I don't want snow right now. Aw, poor baby. I hope that they can figure out when he goes into the cardiologist and get him all better. Ugh. No fun at all. I've been I've got some really good Poshmark hauls, which I should do a video and do my latest Poshmark haul because it was awesome. And so I've got all these clothes for warmer weather that I cannot wait to get to wear. I'm so excited. It's like I have a whole new wardrobe. And then we are having weather like this. And then so that's no fun. That's not how anyone wants to spend their weekend. Um I know, I didn't know they had a cat cardiologist either. Isn't that crazy? See, this is what I'm talking about, when they don't tell kids about all the jobs that there are in the world, when you're, in high school and stuff, or even just starting as a little kid. There are so many things you can be, and who would ever think that, you know? People just think if it's, something with animals, you're a vet. You know what I mean? But there's all these different things you can go into, and you can specialize in different stuff. Actually, a good friend of mine, she is, and I don't know the technical term for it, but basically she specializes in poultry. So she does vet care for chickens and stuff like that. And so I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know there was specific, kinds of you know, vets or stuff like that. I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that people need to know about, because that might be something that somebody goes, oh my gosh, I love, I'm interested in, cardiology type stuff, but I don't necessarily want to work on people, but I love animals and maybe I could do that. You know what I mean? That's a cool thing. Yes, that is good, Sue. Yep, that should definitely help you out and start making you feel better. Definitely want to get that going. Yeah, I've got all these new clothes, and so now I'm like, I can't wait to wear them, and our weather just keeps being poo. And then, so my birthday last week was the most beautiful day we've had so far this year. It was absolutely gorgeous. My husband even got sunburn on his forehead. I had on a denim jacket over a tank top, and I ended up taking my jacket off and was just sitting in a tank top out in the sun. Oh my gosh, it was so gorgeous. And then the next day, back to cold and rainy again because it had been the day before my birthday. So I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I felt like He gave me the most beautiful day for my birthday and for us to be able to be at the outdoor mall that we like and stuff. And, but then, like, so it's been terrible this week. And well, Easter was freezing cold. Like at my sister's when we did the Easter egg hunt for the girls, we like went out and like quickly hid stuff, and we're like, okay, come on, guys, like get your eggs. So we want to go back in, and so it was cold, and at least it wasn't rainy that day. But then we like yesterday snowed like crazy, and then it's supposed to be like 75 on Sunday, but then next week go back down to the 40s. So it's like, ugh. Cattle or cats and dogs. Yep, yeah, and depending on the area you're in, what if there's a lot of farmers and things like that, if you're doing more of like the, yeah, like farm animal type stuff. Hey, Tish. How you doing, girl? Yes, Sue, I hope it does give you some energy. Jenny! Hello, Jenny. Long time no see. Yeah, so today was kind of a sad day because it was the last day of Bible study for the year. So, boo. But I know I'm seeing Jenny next week because our friend Noni is having us over for lunch. So I will not be live next Tuesday because I'm going over there for lunch. But then our friend Beth, we were talking today too about that just because Bible study is ending doesn't mean that we can't still get together and like have coffee somewhere or something. So they all live in the same town and I live like half an hour from everybody. So I have no problem driving out there. Like that doesn't bother me at all. But they were even saying like, oh, we could even meet you like halfway somewhere or something. So, but yeah, I don't mind driving out there. And that way we can still like get to see each other and stuff because yeah, I'm kind of sad. Jenny, I expect you to prepare a message for when we're meeting. Just kidding. We can rope Ann in. She could take her lunch and come and give us our own little private Bible study. She'll be like, Danielle, do not. Don't even go there. I know it'll be a good break for her too, because she's got a lot going on. But Beth, there she is. There's my friend Beth. Hello, Beth. You get to see me just talk and act like a dork because that's basically what these lives are. We go off on all sorts of tangents of random things. I said, Jenny, if we start meeting for, coffee and stuff, Jenny should prepare a message for when we meet. Like we can have Bible study and Jenny can. Yeah, so definitely over the snow and the cold. I want to wear my fun new clothes and all that good stuff. And a song. Yes, she can sing for us. That would be perfect. One week you can do like an old hymn, and then the next week you can do like a more contemporary worship. I'll send you some suggestions, some requests, song requests. Too funny. So, what's anybody got going on? Anything exciting? My tattoo appointment is Sunday, so I can't wait for that. Okay, fine. Ooh, good job, Sue. Oh, you got your bed. Good, 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 good. Hi, Emily. Oh, that's so good to hear you got your bed because I know you were bumming about that 1 week. I guess that was 2 weeks ago now, right? Awesome. It's so funny, stuff like that, like assembling things. If I can do it by myself, like, because some things you kind of need somebody else to hold certain stuff. If I can do it by myself, I like to instead of having help. For some reason, I don't know, stuff like that. Like I'm like, just let me do it. We laughed because my husband is really bad about like reading directions, like or instructions. He's not nearly as bad as his dad, though. His dad is terrible. And so it's like he just assumes he knows what he's doing. We've had some really interesting mishaps around here with things because of that. And I'm like, just read the instructions. That's what they give them to you for. Like, don't just assume because some things, once you put like a piece in, you can't get it back out. And now it's like everything's messed up, right? Yeah, yes, Kate, I guess it really is. At least the majority of men, right? Um, but if Junior comes on here, he's gonna be like, hey, excuse me. um, it doesn't wobble or squeak, then you did an awesome job. Go Sue. Um, but yeah, I'm like when I had baby stuff, like like before Gavin was born or just stuff even with the other kids, I put it together because I was like heck, I am trusting that you are safely putting together this thing that our baby might like be in, like a swing or something. No. Like, I got this. And guess what? Everything was put together properly. Like, I do not presume. I guess maybe that's the one thing you can say, like, if you're not a super confident person, the one positive about that is you don't just presume that you know things. And so it makes you like more willing to take direction and like read instructions and stuff like that. So you probably are, that's probably a good thing in some ways. That's I'm going to try to turn my lack of uh confidence and stuff into a positive here. Do what you got to do. But yeah, no way was I going to trust that. It was so funny. We were at church camp one year and it was so weird. Our light fixture in our main bathroom just like came out of the wall one day. It was the weirdest thing. I have no idea what happened. And so we're like, oh my gosh, well, we were leaving for camp. And so my husband took it down and my father-in-law decided he would come over and fix it for us, which was awesome. So I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. Like, cause we figured we'd just have to deal with it when we got back home or whatever. And so he sends a picture to my husband. My husband's like, look, my dad fixed the light fixture. I'm like, it's upside down. And he's like, no, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's like, well, I don't want to tell him that. Like, he was just over there. I'm like, yeah, but it's upside down. Like, we can fix it when we get home or whatever. But he's like, he felt bad because he didn't want him to tell his dad that it was upside down. I think we just fixed it when we got home because I think he didn't want to tell him. Oh my gosh. This is the kind of thing. Like, oh, yeah, doing stuff when you're tired is yeah. You were tired and you were trying to make your bed so you could sleep in it. I could see where things could go awry there, Sue. Well, and then I have a habit of, having a little too much confidence in certain things that I probably shouldn't, like, I'm super short, so when I need to, like, wash and change the, dust ruffle around the bed, it's underneath your mattress and stuff. So I'm like lifting the mattress and getting myself all up under there and whatever. And a couple times I've kind of twisted myself in a weird position, like my back and stuff. And I'm like, I probably should just ask for help with this. Although my husband's back, I shouldn't, but I could ask one of my boys to come and help me. But it's like certain things like that. Like I'm just like, no, I can do this. I can do this. Like you're gonna hurt yourself. Okay, so Kate, what's hard is my father-in-law actually knows how to do a ton of stuff, and so does my dad. And like they both though you can tell, well, my dad like will be like, "What do you mean you don't know how to do this?" Like to me, not to my husband. And my father-in-law though doesn't say anything, but you can tell he's like sort of annoyed sometimes or something when like Brian's asking him, or like he can't really believe that he doesn't know how to do it. And but my husband and I talked about we're like, okay, but they never taught us. Like, how do they expect us to just know this stuff? Like they've never, and even when like my father-in-law will come over to work on something that we have, a project around here, my husband will be like, well, Dad, can you just like tell me and let me do it so that I can like actually do it? Because that's how he learns. A lot of people learn better that way than just watching. But it's like he's like annoyed, like he just wants to be able to do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, but then we're gonna just have to keep calling you because we don't know what to do. It's like, I don't know. Like maybe you should have taught us. Oh, okay, Sue. Yeah, I can see how that would happen. Like, okay, enough. I'll get back to that tomorrow. Or there's like the things where you're just like impatient for them. And so like something will give you directions like let this sit for an hour or 2 hours or something. And then it's like, I'm like, isn't it good enough? Like, I don't like, hasn't it been long enough? Like, you don't want to wait for things and sometimes you mess stuff up. It's like, just do what it says. Like, be patient. Lacking patience can really, like, it really messes you up on stuff. I mean, so I've heard. No, I'm like, stuff like that just drives me like waiting for something to dry or like with paint or something. I'm like, I just want to get this done and like get stuff moved back and whatever. I do it with like I clean my carpets like every spring and then usually again in the fall so that because summer is when we track the most stuff in on the carpet, like because you're going out barefoot and coming in. Because we're not supposed to wear shoes in the house. My husband's the only one who does it. And so I move like and I do that myself. I move all the furniture into the kitchen from the living room. And then it's funny because you can't even like move in our kitchen then. But and clean the carpets. And but I'm so impatient waiting for them to dry. And I usually have like an oscillating fan going. And I do it in the spring when you can have things open so that there's like a cross breeze and stuff too. But it's like it just drives me crazy having to wait to be able to like move the furniture back. I'm like, okay, the carpet's clean. Like I just want to move the furniture back in there and like get life back together. But oh, yeah. So you had to move stuff and put it all together. Hopefully, you realized you needed to move it before you started putting things together. There's my husband we have these chairs, I think I mentioned it, in our living room that were actually chairs that were in my mother and father-in-law's, they have this big, gorgeous fifth wheel, like, it's ridiculous. It has, like, such a tall ceiling with, like, ceiling fan, they had, like, a fireplace in there and stuff. It's absolutely beautiful. But it came with these 2, like, leather they're not really leather, they're like pleather chairs, whatever, and they kinda recline a little bit, and they swivel and stuff and kinda rock, like, they're I mean, for in a camper, especially, they're really nice. Well, they took those out because they wanted to put, like, their, recliner type things in there instead. And so they sat down in like their family room that they don't use at their house for quite a while. Well, then they were going to get rid of them. And so we were like, well, maybe we can use those. Well, we ended up taking out furniture that was in here that was old and whatever. So we put those in there or in here. Hi, Debbie. No problem. Yes, please don't type while you're driving. I would much prefer. um, and but they're starting to look really bad. And my husband the other day was sitting on the one, and he's like, I think we're gonna have to buy real furniture for in here. I'm like, I know, but I don't even want to because I don't want to stay in this house like for more than a few years. So I'm like, what when you move, like I picture like when we move and do stuff that we're probably gonna maybe do different colors or whatever. So then we'll want to change up and our furniture is by then gonna be quite old anyway. So I'm like, ugh, I hate the thought of having to put money into furniture that when we move, it might not really be even something that I want. So I'm like, ugh. Like I typically always do like browns and stuff. And like in our main living area, my bedroom is gray. Gavin's bedroom is gray and stuff like that. But I'm like, but maybe I'll want to do gray in a living room when we move. I'm gonna move this a little bit. And so I'm like, I don't really want to spend the money on the furniture, but maybe I can look at like Facebook Marketplace or something. I'm kind of weird with furniture though that's used because there's only so much if it's like cloth, there's only so much cleaning you can do. Like this couch, I can take all the like on these pillow things off and the cushions, they all unzip and stuff and I can wash them. But the main part of the couch, the material that it is, I have an upholstery cleaner, but it catches on it. So I have to be like super careful. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know. I just yeah. My parents actually have a leather sectional, and I'm like, I think eventually I would like leather furniture like that you can just because I like to be able to spray stuff and clean it off and stuff. And so I'm like, that way, like it would last a long time. And then we don't have pets, we don't have little kids, and obviously when we move, at that point, we'd probably only at the most have maybe 2 kids with us, but I highly doubt it. I bet Asher will be the only one left with us at that point. So I'm like, it's not like we have young kids or anything. So it's like, to be able to get new furniture and stuff and, know things are gonna last and not get messed up or whatever. So it's like right now, yuck. It's the same to me, buying furniture is like buying underwear. Like, I don't wanna have to spend my money on it. That's so dumb. It's actually not. I mean, I'd much rather spend the money on the furniture than but it's just those kind of things that it's like not nobody really comes to our house and, not very often and stuff, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with what we have. I'm not, like, embarrassed of it or something, but I'm like, I just I don't know. I don't wanna put the money into it. Oh, no, Sue. Yep, see, that's what I'm talking about with I do the same thing with stuff like that. Like, I could make it so much easier on myself. I do pull out the drawers and set them so that I move the drawers separate from, like, the dresser and stuff, but, like, sometimes things I just do it the hard way. It's like, "Why don't you just take the time and make this easier on yourself?" But no, it's like they having to carry every bag in one trip, you know? Oh, that's so awesome, Kate. Well, and truthfully well, no, we had gotten a sectional at our last house that we lived at, but I mean years and years ago. That now, like, is in the basement and it wasn't great furniture. Um, but this couch that I'm on and like our one chair that's fancy are ones I won on a Facebook contest from a furniture company. But that was like not long after we moved in here, I don't think. And we've been here 12 years now. So, well, we bought the house 12 years ago in April and we like fully moved in June. But yeah, I'm like, this even is getting old, or older because they don't make stuff like they used to. It's not like the nice like, my grandma's couch, she has had for, like, 30 years or something ridiculous, like and she just this past, was it right before Christmas this year? I think so. Her kids all paid for it to get, like, new foam put in, like, in the cushions, whatever, but otherwise, that couch is, like, immaculate, and I'm like, "They just don't make things like that anymore." Didn't bother pulling out the drawers, you made it real hard on yourself. Yeah. Like, that makes it so much easier to move stuff. For sure. Well, it's funny because I was talking to, my sisters on Easter, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm so excited Sunday." I'm like, "Well," I said, "Of course, Sunday is gonna be the one really nice day, and I'm gonna be inside for several hours because 'cause I'm getting my tattoo done. It's gonna take several hours." And so, I'm like, "Figures." So then my one sister was like, "Well, what are you getting?" And I'm like, "I already told you I'm not telling you. Like, you'll see it when I get it." And she's like, "Oh, that's right." But she's like, "Okay, we need to get our sister's one, though. Like, we need to do it, like, right now. We need to plan this." So I think while I'm there on Sunday, I kind of talked to them yesterday and we sent some pictures to each other and stuff and kind of got an idea of what we want. Cause then I'm going to talk to the guy who's doing my tattoo on Sunday and kind of show him what we're looking at and whatever, how he would tweak it and stuff. Cause I know he'll make it cooler. And then, try to plan to go do that. So I'm like, I'm going to be getting two new tattoos for sure in the next couple months here, but I want to get that cover up done too. And I kind of wanted to do it before summer, but so expensive. But I've been saving up. So I'm super excited about it. It feels like I've been talking about it for forever. like it's finally almost here. So excited. The thing with my sister's tattoo is I'm having a hard time deciding exactly where I want it. So that's the one thing I'm trying to figure out. I know I want because like I'm like, if I'm paying for this, I want it to be visible. Like I don't want it to be somewhere hidden. So whatever. Um, and I know my one sister is getting hers on her wrist, and then the other one is getting hers like back here on her arm. So my sister Dana, it's her first tattoo ever. She's just gonna get it on her wrist. My sister Delyn has like, I don't know, like 6 tattoos or something already. So she's getting hers on the back of her arm right here. But my arms are something I'm super self-conscious about, like my upper arms. So I would never draw attention up there. Um, so since this arm's already gonna be covered, I'm like, do I want it kind of just up here, like on the lower part of my forearm? I'm kind of thinking that's where I'm going to put it, but I'm not sure. Any suggestions, anyone? Oh, that's good too. So it wasn't a far move. Hello. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, for sure. That's one thing, like, I take really good care of the one that's on my foot. Like, I always put sunscreen on it and stuff. So, like, the colors are really vibrant, and I have to have had that tattoo for like 14 or more years, maybe 15 years. But it looks really good. Um, but the one on my lower back, well, for one thing, I can't reach back there. For another thing, I don't like it. So I didn't ever really take care of it, and it's faded pretty good. So once I get like a cover up done on it, then I'll make sure that I'm taking really good care of it. But um, yeah, sometimes though, like certain places though also fade faster than others. So definitely, and they are pricey. I know that's I'm like, ooh. I usually get though like my mother-in-law and my husband's aunt and stuff always give money for like Christmas and my birthday and stuff. So I still actually have my Christmas money from them and just got birthday money from them. So I've got that money that I'm going to use. So I don't know if they would be excited about that. Actually, I was thinking about it. My mother-in-law, I sent them both texts after I had opened their cards because, like, my husband's aunt usually sends out all the birthday cards for the month, like at the beginning of the month. And so I got it. And so I sent her a text. I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, I got your card. I won't open it until my birthday because I just like to do that." And I'm like, "But so, it made it, and stuff. And so thank you." So she was like, "Okay." So then, like the day after my birthday, I sent my mother-in-law and my husband's aunt messages just thanking them for my cards and my gifts and stuff. And my mother-in-law was like, "I hope you find something you like." And I'm like, "I don't think that's going to be a problem." And then I'm thinking to myself, and I'm using it toward my tattoo probably, which I maybe wouldn't have been like, here's some money to get a tattoo because she doesn't like tattoos. But when you give a gift, it's from your heart and you don't care how people use it. That's how it should be. It's a gift I'll have forever. That's a pretty sweet way to use, money for a gift, I think. So funny. It's funny too because like yesterday I was sending my sisters pictures of like some different ideas. We kind of already had an idea of what we wanted, but they want it much more plain. Like I just want a black and gray tattoo. That's what I prefer. So I was like, I'm kind of leaning toward that, but I'm not opposed to some color. Um, but they were both like, no, I just want black and gray. I'm like, okay, good. And then it's but, like, I don't know, I just want some sort of other element to this tattoo, so I'm, like, having a hard time, and I think that's what's giving me a hard time with placement too, because I'm like, "Eh, if it had, like, a little different shape, then I know, like, I would definitely put it right here," or whatever, but I'm just having a hard time figuring out exactly what I wanna do. Aw, cool, Sue. Actually, what's today's the 19th, right? I think it's my brother-in-law's wife's birthday is today, I'm pretty sure. We've got so many April birthdays. Yay! Hi, Penny. And let me guess, you're all moved in, all unpacked, all settled because 2 weeks ago you were pretty well there. So what's your excuse for not being here on time, Penny? I'm just kidding. Oh, that's so cool. I love Yeah, I love when people have, like, a story behind their tattoo, and that's our sister's tattoos. I mean, there's a reason why we're getting what we're getting. I don't think it matters if I tell you. There are gonna be 3 pine trees. Pine trees have just always been part of our, um, I don't know, just part of our lives, and I think I've talked about this before. My parents had a business up north, like Northern Michigan, not the UP, but Northern Michigan, and, it's all pine trees. Like, when we were kids, we used to play under them, and we've always been campers, and so we'd always be in, campgrounds with trees, and every house my parents have lived at has had big pine trees, and it's just I don't know, there's something about it, it's just always been. And to me, up north, when you start driving, you see, like, when the trees kinda change to up north pine trees. I don't know, it's just, like, a weird it's just a thing, it's our family. And, our family, we're weird. Um, but so we know we want that to represent the 3 of us. So we'll have 3 pine trees. And then we're gonna get birds to represent our kids and our husbands. So, like, I'll have 4 birds on mine. My sister Dana will have 4 birds on hers. My sister Dylan will have 2 birds because she just has 1 daughter and her husband. And so, but so that's basically like kind of the design they're looking at is just the 3 trees, of different heights to represent us because we're 3 different heights, and then the birds for our families. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I need something else. Like are some that are in like kind of a circle or, I don't know, just like in a shape type thing. And I feel like if I had that, I could figure out placement better than just the trees and the birds. I don't know. Because then I'm like, okay, well, if I put, the trees would be going up like this and then the birds, but I don't want it going up into my arm up here. So it would have to be down pretty far. But I don't know if that's what I want, but I don't know that I really want it on my wrist. And here's why I don't want it on my wrist. I wear bracelets on this arm all the time. So my tattoo I'm getting over here, I purposely told him when I was doing it, I want it where it'll be above where my watch band is because I always wear a watch. So it can be from there up to, the bend of my elbow is where I want it. And I didn't want one over here because of bracelets and stuff. And usually, I mean, I wear bracelets that slide up and down my arm. And so I don't really want a tattoo on my wrist because same thing. Like then I'm just going to have bracelets over top of it all the time. And I don't really want that. So that's why I'm thinking up here. But you guys probably don't care. And I'm just totally overthinking this because that's what I do. I overthink everything. Oh, that's so cool, Sue. What a special gift. That's awesome. That is super cool. I love that they had the same initials. Makes it even extra special because then it's not like he's wearing like someone else's initials. But he knows it's his grandpa's. That's so cool. Our filters have filters. That's so funny, Benny. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. $800 for a 3-day concert. Especially because you figure so that's just the concert ticket, right? Like that's not like food and all that. Is that one of the ones where you like camp? Because even there's like a big Christian music festival in our state, and we've looked at going and like taking our boys. I mean, from years ago, we had looked at doing it, but it's super expensive. And like, if we wanted, we could take our travel trailer, but it's not like you don't have hookup for. You'd still have to go. You have to pay to go take showers and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and it would be so expensive. And again, it's for your tickets to be there, and then you paid extra for the camping. Then you have to pay for your showers. You have to pay for food. Well, I mean, we'd bring a lot of food since we have, but I don't think you had electric hookup. So it's not like we could cook. I mean, we could bring like a grill and stuff, but yeah, so expensive. Would be really cool, but oh, that's so cool. I love the passport stamp like that. I actually just saw a tattoo like that as I was looking through like different idea things that somebody would get like the passport stamps from places that they had been. It was like on their back. It looked really cool. I love tattoos that tell a story. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and flight. Yeah. Wasn't even thinking about that. Duh. Hotel. Okay. So it's not a camping one. I would not want to be. That's the thing too. I'm like those ones where people go and they just camp like in tents and stuff. Ugh, like, I don't know, just the thought of it to me is so gross because it's, like, hot, so you're sweaty, and I can't stand sleeping in a tent and being, like, hot, like, when you wake up and the sun's on it because those places are usually, like, in the middle of a field, so it's not like you have, like, tree cover for shade. Like, oh, that sounds absolutely miserable to me. Yeah, hotel would be a lot better, option there. for sure. My husband was funny because, um, as I've mentioned, he's not a huge tattoo person. Like, I say huge tattoo person, he doesn't really like them, but he's like, so I just the other day, he goes, "Okay, where are you getting this again?" He's asked me this like 3 times, like, I've been talking about this for like 3 years. And so I showed him, he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "You better get used to it." And he goes, "No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine." And he's like, I don't know." And he goes, "My only thing I'm worried about is," he's like, "the only thing that would bug me about it is if you get it and don't like it for some reason, like regret it, and then I have to hear you like talk all the time about how much you don't like it." Like, that like cracked me up because I do that with other things, and so I know that's why he's saying it. Um, and so I'm like, okay, no, I've wanted this for several. The tattoo artist that I'm getting it from, I know exactly what his work is like, and it's the type that I've been wanting. I've seen his work, so it's not like you're gonna go get something and be like, oh, like that's not the way I envisioned that, you know. And plus, I've been talking to him back and forth, so he knows exactly what I want. And I'm like, and it's for like things I'm doing for my family. Like, so that's they're never gonna change. They're always gonna be my family. So I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. But there's nothing like blatant, like people's names or something. Oh yeah, Penny. See, that's another thing too, though, getting older. The other day, so I had worked out and I was really sweaty, but sometimes right after I work out, I cannot go get in the shower because like my legs are shaky and I feel overheated and I'm like, I have to wait or I'll like pass out in the shower or something. And so I was sitting on the floor drinking like my protein shake and doing something on my laptop. And I went to get up and I'm like, oh, I forget sometimes I'm not 20. like, like my hips. But yeah, sleeping in a tent, no, no, no. Not without a good air mattress. Oh, it rained the entire time. And see, that's the thing too. I picture that's exactly what would happen to me. Like, it's just everything's wet. You're like miserable. Ugh. Oh, okay. So that worked out. That's funny. What'd you guys do for Easter? Anybody do anything exciting? We went, so there was an Easter service on Saturday evening. And so my husband, all my boys, Noelle, which is my son Gavin's fiance, and my sister Delyn and her husband Jason and their daughter Eden, we all went to service on Saturday. It was super nice. It was just perfect because then Sunday all went over to Delyn's house, and my other sister Dana and her family all came over there too. So it was like just perfect. I mean, the weather could have been better, better, but the food was awesome. We laughed a ton. It was just we had so much fun. So it was a really good day. I was very happy. Oh, the second Woodstock. That would be yeah, that'd be interesting. Penny. I can just picture that. I just had this vision of you rolling yourself over to a chair to get up. Isn't it crazy the things that's I'm like sometimes, oh my gosh, or like sounds the other day I got up and my husband was like making fun of me, like all the noises my body's making, like popping and whatever. I'm like, shut up. Like, leave me alone. Like he can even talk, but oh, no problem, Kate. That's so frustrating when that happens. Well, that's nice, Sue, that you did something good for yourself like that. That's awesome. Hello, Auntie Barbara Jean. For anyone who hasn't watched yet, she just made me think of it. The newest Thrifted Look for Less challenge went up on Easter. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out because you know me, I love doing those. Oh, I bet he did think it was funny. Yeah. I know. I'm like, stuff that Brian will laugh at sometimes. I'm like, oh, yeah. Would you think this was funny if I was laughing at you for this? Actually, no. You know what he does? So my husband is like the king of like corny. dad joke. Like that's just how he is. Which everyone else like Noelle thinks he's hilarious. She like can't get enough of it. And like other people, my sisters and stuff, everybody thinks he's so funny. He is funny, but when you live with somebody who does it all the time, it like kind of it's not as funny. Like we're just like, oh geez, like we knew he was gonna, come up with something like that. But I will say something that's dang funny. And he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You would have said the exact same thing and it would be like it's the funniest thing ever. But I say it and it's like, it's all right. Like, I'm like, no fair. Yes. Hi, Mia. The dad jokes do lose their charm sometimes. And sometimes I have to step back and because I do appreciate, I definitely appreciate his sense of humor. But it's like when you live with it, you come to expect that they're gonna say goofy things all the time. So it's not the same, it doesn't catch you the same way as it would if you're somebody who doesn't hear somebody do that all the time. Like, so yeah, Noelle will be over and my husband will say something and she will just die laughing, which of course then he loves because he thinks he's real funny. And I'm like, oh brother. Like and I'm like, it is funny, but uh oh, thank you. Yes, Thrift to Look for Less is just it's so much fun. No, I love though, like seeing what I love because everyone in the group has totally different sense of style, like as far as like what they are drawn to. And that I think is super fun because if we all had the same type of style, whatever that we liked, then it would be kind of boring. But I love like just seeing different people like where they live, the stuff that they find too, because it's kind of like TJ Maxx hauls, okay, or Marshall's hauls when I see other people's because I swear everywhere else in the world has good TJ Maxx and stuff. Well, not world because I guess they're not everywhere, but you know what I mean. In the US has really good like makeup and stuff at their TJ Maxx. We do not have that at ours. I live like 30 minutes away from one and like 35, 40 minutes away from another one. Neither of them have anything even remotely like what I see. And then the closest Marshall's is like 45 minutes away. And them either, which I was so mad the other day. I went in there. We went into Marshall's on my birthday. And I'm going around and I'm picking up like I was kind of disappointed already in their clothing selection because well, you'll see my I was actually editing it. I'm not done editing it yet, but before I came on here, my like birthday haul video. But I was looking for something specific and could not find anywhere and not super specific, just like you'll see. But anyway, Marshalls, I was disappointed in their clothing selection anyway. And then I got some stuff together and went to go try it on, and the dressing rooms were closed. I was so ticked. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. This is getting ridiculous. Like, why are dressing rooms closed or still closed at some places? And what makes me about it is put up signs in the clothing sections that say, like, sorry for the inconvenience, but our dressing rooms are not open so that people don't go around and gather a bunch of stuff that they think they're going to try on. And then there's no place to try it on. And I hate when people gather stuff together and like dump it somewhere, but there was no rack by the dressing rooms to put something. So I was not about to go around and put everything back in the spots. So it all got put in the same spot. And I hate that. I feel bad to even say that because I think that's such a jerk move. But it's a bigger jerk move to not let people know that the dressing rooms aren't open. Like, oh, I was so irritated. So then the next place we went, I'm like, can you please look and make sure the dressing rooms are open before I even touch anything? And my husband goes, he's like, you're good. But I'm like, it's the only place that I've been to in a really long time that didn't have open dressing rooms. Dumb. Yeah, I didn't show it yet. I'm still editing that video, Penny. So it will be up Thursday, I think. I think I'll put that one up Thursday. Isn't that funny? Well, and that's the thing too. Different sizes and stuff. Like I like to sometimes I can find really good stuff for my mother-in-law at TJ Maxx and stuff. I've gotten her like some of like her favorite shirts and stuff there. But then like I was looking the other day because I'm like, oh, your mom's birthday's coming up and her birthday and Mother's Day are very close to each other. And so I'm like, I should go ahead and while we're out, just go ahead and look for some shirts and stuff for your mom. And So Brian was like, "Oh yeah, good idea." They had nothing, like nothing. I'm like, or like the things they had were hideous. I'm like, who would put this on their body? I'm sorry, no. Like it was just it was terrible. Yeah. The Marshalls, so like I said, that's like 45 minutes for me. And we hardly ever go there. But a lot of times when we go there, it is so packed that it's like you stand in line for an hour. By Christmas time, we walked in, we looked at some stuff, walked over toward the back, and I'm like, "What's this line from?" And realized it was the line like to pay. It was all the way at the back of the store, and it's a huge store. And because it's like Marshalls and Home Goods. And so my husband just went and stood in line and he was watching some sort of sports thing on his phone, and so he had earbuds in and just stood in line with the cart, and I would just come over and put stuff in it as I found things. Well, then you kind of noticed a lot of people were doing that, so they just put their husbands to work to stand with the cart. And but I mean, it's just obnoxious sometimes. So we pulled in the other day and I was like, "Sweet, look at the parking lot. There's not like a ton of people here." Well, I know why. Well, for one thing, it was a Tuesday, but it was late afternoon. Yeah, it was late afternoon. Um, And so we went in. That place was such a disaster. It was such a mess. There, like, a lot of things were bare. Like I said, the clothing selection was terrible. And I'm thinking that's why the dressing rooms weren't open actually, is because I think they don't have enough people like staffed to be able to put stuff away and stuff like that. It was a disaster. It was gross. Like the makeup section, I wouldn't even have dreamt of trying to buy anything from over there because everything was like opened and like it was terrible. It's amazing how they, like, can't get anybody to work anywhere. So weird. I don't know why no one needs to work. What are people doing? Like, I know. Barbara Jean. The funny thing is, like, I can appreciate people's individual style. Like, some people dress crazy, like, what I would think is crazy, but there's something I love about it. I told my husband that when we were at, the outdoor mall the other day because we are watching, just people walk by and stuff, and some of the things people wear, and I'm like, that girl, like, whatever she might have on, like, something crazy, but I'm like, "I love it." Like, "You go." Because there's something I just love about that because you could tell she was confident in what she was wearing. Now, when you see people and they're in something weird, but they kinda, like, even look like they're uncomfortable, well, that's dumb. Like, why are you doing that? But, like, people who, like, that is their style, like, rock it. I'm all about that. I mean, there's a lot of things I would never put on my body or, like, I look at and I'm like, like, it might not be like the most flattering or, attractive, but if you love it and like rock it with confidence, then I'm like, go you. Oh no, Sue. I do like that they have like different like how there's the juniors because honestly, most times I end up in juniors departments because the things just fit me better. I guess it's just like being short or something about my body type, whatever. Um, and a lot of times I don't know. I guess I feel like I have a more I lean toward more youthful things, like, um, which some people would probably say I dress too young, but I don't care. I just how I want to dress. So I appreciate having like several departments like that in one store where you can find, different stuff. The thing I was disappointed though, like I love dresses and stuff, and their like dress selection was terrible. They had like I wanted like summery kind of like light pants. They had nothing. I was like, "What is going on?" Like, it was bad. So, I have to agree with you on that. I'm not a big neon person either. Truthfully, anything that even remotely makes me think of the '80s, no, and that's neon is one of those things. Like, put something neon with something black netted, ugh. It's like a nightmare to me. I love these vitamin waters. They're so dang good. Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Yeah, wear what makes you happy. Like, definitely, if you feel good in something, totally rock it. And I was telling my husband that because of the way he is with, like, tattoos and stuff, just not really liking them. He's like, "I guess I just don't get it." Like, I just don't get why people wanna do it. And I'm like, "Which whatever, that's fine, like, that's just part of individuality?" And I said, "But it's the same with, like, I'll see people with certain tattoos, and I'm like, I would never want that, but good for you know what I mean? But I'm happy for that person that they like it." Like, they don't have to do stuff because I'm gonna look at it and think it's attractive or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I know. I'm like, I'm so glad I wasn't a teenager in the '80s. Debbie. Okay, but here's the thing. I shouldn't say I don't like neon. It depends on what it is. Because some people can pull off certain things and it doesn't have the '80s vibe to it. And so that I'm totally fine with. But I don't know. I just and I think there's things too, there's things in life because we were talking about this the other day. There's like certain songs and stuff that like make me feel like angry inside and even almost like depressed or something. And I think it must be like there must have been something going on in my life at the time when that was popular or like I heard it during that time or something and it's like you don't really remember what it was, but it just brings a feeling to you from something. And that's I swear, like, I mean, I was a kid in the '80s, so, like, what I mean, not that bad things can't happen to you as a kid, obviously, but I mean, it's not like I had, like, some weird upbringing or something that was terrible, so I can't put a finger on, like, what it is about anything with the '80s, like, music, fashion, hair, um, I just everything about it is, like, makes me cringe inside, like, I don't know why, but I feel like it must be something I don't know, there's just like a negative connotation with it or something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were a teenager in the '80s. No, I'm just kidding. Woohoo, Penny. Success. That's hilarious. I know, isn't it funny? There are things that like sometimes I'll even be like, "Oh, I didn't know that was there." Like, how long have I had this or whatever? Yeah. Okay, but I have seen Debbie have like like a neon kind of color shirt on and stuff, and she can pull it off. And I think part of it is her hair color. And just I don't know, but she doesn't have the '80s vibe in any way, you know what I mean? So I think that's why. But if you've got a hairstyle that's still leaning a little '80s and you put on some neon, then it's done. It's done. Oh, wow. The only one without a tattoo. That's crazy. It is funny, like, what a difference over the years how tattoos have become, 'cause it used to be so, like, taboo or only, like, really, wild people or something had tattoos, and now they're just an everyday kinda thing. Wait, you've been feeling what a lot lately, Penny? Oh, like the, "Oh, I didn't know that was there" kinda thing? Oh my gosh, yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, oh, my birthday, I was living my best life in the outfit I had on that day. I was like I told my husband I came out that morning dressed and ready to go for Bible study and stuff, and I'm like, "I want my whole life to feel like this. This is what I want." And he's, like, cracking up. I'm like, "I feel so good right now." Like, I could not even I, like, love that '70s vibe. I love it so much. You can too wear orange, Debbie. Stop it. I hate orange. Yes, I'm wearing a bunch. No, no, no. I even have on my, House Labs Love for Sale palette today with some pretty orange shades. Loving it. Like, there is just something about, like, doing your makeup that just is so blissful to me. Like, in the morning, it makes if I have to get up early, I'm like, "It's fine." I just, like, put on my praise and worship music, and I'm doing my makeup, and I'm singing, and it's, like, the most relaxing, lovely thing to me, like, puts me in a good mood. My husband brought me some coffee. We were cracking up. So, he got this espresso machine last July. No, well, he ordered it in July, but then it didn't come until August, but we didn't start I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so we have, like, espresso drinks all the time, or, like, I have Americanos and stuff, and so but it's your beans are freshly ground for every single cup of coffee you're having and stuff. So, we didn't really think about it. But he was low on beans the one day and he's like, "Oh, it's really expensive, something or other." And he's like, "I gotta order." He orders them online usually. So he had ordered them. So he's like, "It'll be a couple days before they get here or a day or something, whatever." And so we pulled our bun coffee pot back out and have been making coffee in that, or had been. We're both like, "Ugh." Like, he goes, "I think we're coffee snobs now. I think we've become coffee snobs." Because I'm like, "It's like drinking out of a dang ashtray. It's so gross." I'm like, "We've tried even different coffees in there, like, it's just not no, nope." No, Sue, orange is my favorite. I love orange, like, eyeshadows and stuff especially, which this is more of like a I don't know. Kinda like a rusty orange, so it's not like orange orange. Because even, like, my eye makeup is more of a rusty orange, but I love orange is a happy color. Peach, coral, all those kind of coral does lean a little more, like, pinky orange, but I think coral and, teal are, like, universally flattering colors on like, I mean, they're just good on anybody, any skin tone, any hair color, they just look really pretty on everybody. Yeah. There's somebody speaking some sense down there. Thanks, Penny. I look awful in prison orange. Oh my gosh, Debbie. Well, behave yourself. Oh my gosh. Too funny. I know, Sue, it's terrible. We've always been coffee drinkers, like drink any kind of coffee, don't care, whatever. But once you are drinking coffee that like it's freshly ground beans every time, well, and they're espresso beans too, so it's a little different. It's just it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, when have you worn prison orange? I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, where do you even get a piece of apparel in that color, if not in prison, Debbie? Is there something you would like to share with us? Oh, that would be pretty, a peach moto jacket. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Oh, you guys, I'm dying for the weather to there's hardly any snow left out there now from yesterday. If you look on Instagram at what the snow was like yesterday and it was still like that this morning, I was like, "What?" But now there's like little patches of it around the bottoms of like pine trees. That's all that's left. Yes. Um, but I have so many fun new clothes I cannot wait to wear. Mind your business. Sassy. You're the one who put out there that you look bad in Prison Orange, Debbie. You can't expect people to not ask questions. Oh my gosh. Too dang funny. Oh my gosh, and Debbie, I started watching it last night, but my it kept buffering for some reason. I wasn't on your live because I didn't see it till later. I was like, "Dang it." But, when I was trying to watch it last night, my internet kept buffering for some reason, so I finished watching it today, and you opening all your goodies from, Nikki, I'm like, "Oh My gosh, like, that was so fun. It was so fun to watch you open it and be so excited. That's the thing, I love watching other people, like, open presents and stuff, like, I get excited, like, I don't know, I'm such a dork. But those scarves oh my gosh, those are so cool. Like, I can't believe she makes those. I'm like, "That is incredible. So awesome." Ooh, suede. That'd be so awesome. Orange juice is good. Mhm. I'll give you that, Sue. That's not the only good thing. Yeah, definitely. So but I just was so amazed at like the intricacy of I think that's so cool because I've never done any kind of crocheting that has like a pattern in it, like how the skulls were in that. Like I've never done anything like that. So the only thing I've ever done is like crochet like a skull or a cat or something and then attach it to something. I've never like actually done it in like a pattern. That was so cool. Yeah, it was beautiful. And I love the gray because it goes with, like, everything. Oh, see? Yeah. I don't blame you. That's awesome. Gray goes really pretty with orange. Just in case you were wondering. Oh, yeah, she totally could make like that though, like table runner ones, and just make it like a rectangle. You could do all sorts of cool stuff. I really do need to, like, branch out. Well, I have my Harry Potter, crochet kit, and I have not started on any of that yet. I always think, "Well, once this is done, I'll have time for this." No, you have to, like, make time for things if you wanna do it. I have plenty of time, I just do other things with the time. It's like, I have to make it. Oh, I didn't know that, Sue. That's cool. Debbie, she totally should. That's so awesome. The only bad thing is shipping. It's so hard too because people, um I know this girl who makes Afghans, but she does, like, these really cool ones where, like, she uses a giant hook and it'll be, like, 8 strands of yarn, and they're all different, like, textures and colors and whatever, and she puts together, like, the coolest combinations of things. Well, people will be like, "Well, they're too expensive." And I'm like, "Okay, well, obviously people don't realize how much it costs." Like, she's not just going and getting simple, um, you know, acrylic yarn. She's getting all these, like, nice, those yarns are expensive, and the time it takes to do, like, a huge blanket like that and stuff. Now, what is cool about using a big hook and a bunch of things like that, it goes faster because obviously it's making much bigger, chains and stuff, but it's expensive to get the materials for it and then the time to make it, and people that's a hard thing about, a lot of, like, handmade things is people who don't do those kind of things don't realize what all goes into making them. So they just look at it and go, "Oh, that seems expensive for that." Well, but it's really not because the person should make something. Like it shouldn't be like they just make it and just make their money back for the materials that they used. But it's hard. And that's the thing I think is hard too. Like, how do you put it price? Like, what do you decide like your time is worth? You know what I mean? Yeah, Penny, it's crazy. It's such a shame too because it's like these things that are so cool to be able to do, and it's like it takes that away from you, having to worry about shipping, and then the way that they take care of packages because they don't, and so that you worry about things even getting to people intact. I got a Poshmark package last week, and it had this whole note on like, the box was a disaster, and the girl had everything in it was so nice because I was like, "Shoot." I was like, "I hear something rolling around in there." Well, I bought clothes. So I'm like, "What do I hear?" and the box was all messed up, all taped crazy, and there was a whole note on it from the post office, like not a handwritten one, it's like one they print about like, sorry about the condition of your package, whatever. No, you're not. You don't care. It's not like they said they're going to do something about it if something's damaged. And so I opened it up and the girl had everything individually wrapped. Like she had it so nice. And what I was hearing was she actually had a little, like one of those little like tool kind of bags, and she had a little thing of Kleenex in it and a lipstick. Well, the lipstick had come out of it, so it was rolling around in the box because I'm thinking, what is making that noise? I bought clothes. But like she had put it together really nice. But I'm like, the post office just like seriously, what do they do with these packages? It's so obnoxious. Yes, the materials and time. And again, I think that's a tricky thing to try to tell people what you think your time is worth. And your time is worth a lot. I mean, it's but you know what I mean? It's like one of those weird things like I don't know what to ask somebody. Oh, that would be cool, knitting a rug for your room. Ooh. Yeah, exactly, Debbie. You have to duct tape everything. And the other thing is, which you will hear a funny story about shipping in my I'm going to be recording a video where I do a makeup look and talk about some stuff for my birthday. That's really funny. So, yeah, there'll be some shipping talk in that. But oh my gosh. And that's especially frustrating. You're paying extra to have something get to you on time. Debbie, you kinda know. Um, and stuff, and then that's how it comes to you. Like, I love, like, things like priority. No, it's not. Like, they don't treat that any different than, or, like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like if you write fragile on something, they're like, "Oh, really?" You know what I mean? They're like a bratty kid who's like, "I'm gonna do the opposite of what you tell me. So I'm gonna drop kick this package that you wrote fragile on." Like, "Oops, just knocked that out of the truck. Sorry." Ugh. Ugh, yeah, that is frustrating. Like, you not only are paying for materials, but you need to make something for the time that you took to make it. Like, and you're going to pay more for homemade thing or handmade things. Like if you want to pay cheap prices, go to Walmart and get jewelry. You know what I mean? Like you can't have it both ways. Like, well, this book has one thing I want. That's funny. I know I used to do all sorts of I actually just went through and I gave away all of I took it all to the thrift store. Um like all my cross stitch stuff. I had like kits, that come with the fabric and all the um, floss that you need and all this stuff and things that I have had for years. And some I had even started. And I'm like, I'm never going to do this. I'm just not like, and I know it. So why do I keep holding on to it? So I finally let all that stuff go. And I'm glad that I did because somebody else might really enjoy doing it. So what is the point of it sitting in my basement? What? If we would have known what was in there, the package would have been lost. Oh, like they would have kept it? Like, "We'll take those truffles, thanks." I mean, they wouldn't have been disappointed, but yeah, no, like, you're like, You better be joking." Ridiculous. I know. I don't We had one time I ordered, a golf bag for my dad, so my sisters and I all went in on it together, and this was at my other house when I lived in the city. And I wasn't working at the time, so I was home all day. I had little kids, and I get well, it, like, wasn't coming, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" And it was I wanted it for Christmas for my dad, so I'm waiting. Well, then, I'm sitting at home, and I had, like, our house was on a corner lot, and when you came in the front door, if you turned right, you could go into the, living room, and so that was, like, a big, like, they had 2 windows out the front. Well, no, 3. So you could see, like, at the side of the house and 2 at the front, and then we had a family room in the back of the house, but I was purposely staying up in the front because of something. There was something else. There was a reason I was staying up in the front room, and I'm sitting up there, and I get a message that, the or I kept checking the tracking or something, I think, because I don't think it had where you could, like, get text messages then. But anyway, it said that it had been delivered to my front porch, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, we had a dog that would bark, for 1, and when anyone came to the door, and 2, I'm sitting right there, like, I can see my front door, and so I'm like, "Okay." So I go out, and I'm, like, looking. Well, this is a huge box. It's a golf bag, like, it's not some little thing, and it's not there. So, like, I contacted UPS was supposed to be bringing it. And they're like, "Well, it shows that it was delivered to your front door." I'm like, "Well, I'm telling you it's not because I'm sitting right here. Like, I literally can see my front door. Like, no one came here." And so then they're like, "Well, maybe you need to call the place that you ordered it from." Well, that's funny because UPS said they delivered it. So why would they have anything to do with them? Well, this company was so awesome. They had me stay on the phone. They ended up doing a call, had me on there while they called UPS, and basically got it all straightened out so that UPS had to pay for a new one to be sent to me and everything. I was amazed at the customer service of that place because they were like, "Nope, we'll get this taken care of for you, whatever." Because I'm like, there's no, and the guy told me, he goes, "I can almost guarantee you," because he's like, this, happens sometimes, that the driver keeps, because they could see what it was, and just say that they delivered it because there was no other explanation for it. I even went to neighbors, like, all around the streets by me, asking if anyone, and everyone's like, "No." And I mean, like, they were mostly old people, like, and like nice people, like, not people that would be like, "No, I didn't get that golf bag." Like, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, they did not deliver it to me. Mhm. Sorry, my son is texting me. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, that's the thing too. Listing on the customs form, like, they can see exactly what's in there. Like, if somebody wants to just snag it. Ugh. Yeah, I get super frustrated by that sometimes because I'm like, or I have something right in my purse because my husband and I are going to go later and finally go to Hobby Lobby and get a new picture so I can take down my reindeer. Since this is a week when the pictures are half off. Um, but I have something in my purse that needs to go over to the neighbors because our mail person drives me insane. Like, quit giving people, literally one day we had almost the whole, well, this section of street, because we live on dirt roads, but there's, like, so it's in between, like, where the next cross roads are. Our whole section, which is only, well, no, it had to be past that because we only have 1, 2, 3, 6. No, that would be right. There's, like, 8 houses in between, where the next road is in here, and we had all of their mail. They literally put everyone's mail in our mailbox. I'm like, "Who does, like, what is this?" My husband actually did call the, post office that day because he's like, "This is ridiculous," because now, and he goes, "I'm not gonna go and deliver everyone's mail." And so they're like, "Just put it back in your box and put the flag up." But we're like, "Okay, it was before Christmas." So it's like Christmas cards and stuff. So I'm like, it's stuff that people are, waiting for or people sent and are expecting that these people are getting it. And that's what they do with it. And if you sent it, if it all got put in someone's mailbox and they were like, "I'm not dealing with this," like we could have just thrown it away, which is federal offense, by the way. Don't mess with people's mail. But you know what I mean? Like somebody could totally do that and just be like, "I'm not dealing with this," and throw it away. And so none of these people get their mail. Like, come on, buddy, do your job. Like, and I mean, it's not an easy job. My aunt was a mail carrier for years, and she's got some like horror stories about things. But it's just like, I mean, if you're not going to do it right, then just don't do it, please. Like, who is that person that would want to steal Vegemite? Like, that is a true monster. I am thinking of somebody who was curious and didn't know what Vegemite was. Uh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, why wouldn't they tell you where it is? Like, you can't send, like, an email or something that your package was hidden or whatever? So weird. Or we'll have okay, so we've got a little porch, and it's covered. It'll be raining, and if it's a package that, like, our mail carrier has to bring up, FedEx and UPS never do this. They put it right up against the door, so it's, like, as dry as it can be or whatever. Obviously, if the wind's blowing and stuff, there's only so much they can do, but Um, the mail carrier will set it right at the corner of the porch so that it's just getting rained on. Like, I swear they do it just to be a jerk. I'm like, "Seriously, who are you?" Like, they get a weird thrill out of just being a jerk with people's mail. Don't get it. I feel like my shirt is doing something very strange. It, like, keeps doing this weird fold over right here. Strange. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and, like, I don't know. Because you would think if it was actually something really important, like, it should have to be signed for. So if it's not a package that needs to be signed for, I mean, I appreciate that if they thought it was something important, they're trying to put it where people can't just see it sitting on your porch. But again, like, leave something that indicates that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's so strange. But I just love when they say, like, "Oh, delivered," and it'll be like, "Delivered to mailbox." And I go out there. I'm like, okay. And then, like, sometimes we'll have stuff, it'll be like they brought it up by our porch, and there's, like, this stack of, like, pavers that we were gonna use that we really just need to get rid of because I don't think we're gonna use them. But sometimes I'll, like, stick it there because it's sort of, like, in a little like, behind our lilac bush, so it's sort of, like, hidden, and, like, I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, but just don't put that it was delivered to the mailbox then, because that's where I'm going and looking." And then usually on my way back walking to the house, I see it. Like, over tucked around the thing, but it's, like, kinda weird. At least now I know that though, so I know to look there. Or it drives me nuts when it'll be like, out for delivery, but then it never shows up, and then I'll look at tracking, and it's, like, in a city, like, 4 hours away. I'm like, "Why did it say it was out for delivery?" No, it wasn't. Like, they don't deliver it from there all the way to my house. Like, it goes to the next place before it goes. I'm like, "So weird." Like, just random, like, we'll just say this." Ooh, that sounds pretty. Oh, I, like, dabbled for a short period of time in making some jewelry. I didn't do, like, really expensive gemstones or anything, but I realized I'm just not that good at it. Some people are awesome. It's so funny. I just don't have, like, an artistic anything about me. Like, I love that people can create things. Like, people that can draw or play music or make jewelry or pottery or whatever. Like I can crochet, but very basically. Like it's not something amazing. Um, but like I'm just so amazed at people's artistry. Like I think that's such a cool thing. Or like I wish I could sing or something. Like something. I'm sure the people around me at church wish I could sing too. My brother-in-law was saying though the other day, he goes, "Yeah," because he had back surgery right after Christmas, and so that was really when they started watching like our church online. And so for Easter, they always come to our church for like Christmas Eve and stuff. He didn't last year because he couldn't sit, but like they got married in our church and stuff, but they've, like, gone there every once in a while, but never, like, regularly. But then since he got his back surgery and stuff, he started watching it online, and so then they all started watching it online and stuff, and so he was saying the other day, he's like, "Yeah, it was cool to be, like, at church and sing during worship." He's like, "'Cause, like, at home when we watch it on Sundays, I'm not just gonna, like, sing in the living room." I'm, like, laughing. I do sometimes, but if we're at home for church, but I much prefer to, like, be there and sing, and I'm like, that's the good thing about it, though, like, it's loud, so if you're not a good singer, no one really knows it besides the people, like, right next to you, which is usually your family, and they already know you don't sing good anyway, so it's, like, no surprise to them. Oh, thank you, Penny. And that one was tricky because it wasn't really a pattern, like, I can't come up with my own patterns or something, um, I can follow a pattern pretty well, but that was like a modified pattern. So it was like, I don't know how this is going to work out. So I'm glad that it ended up working out. And she likes it. That's all that matters. Oh yeah, Sue, I don't blame you for that. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I love to sing, but I do not have a good voice at all. I'm like, my husband's like, "I think you think it's worse than it actually is." He's like, "Your voice is not bad. It's obviously not like, oh, like you should go on American Idol or something." But he's like, "But you don't have a bad voice." But I'm like, thanks, hon." Like, don't know if I believe you there, but thanks. Like, and that's why I love it, like concerts and stuff too. It's hilarious though, because sometimes like you're recording something at a concert and you can hear yourself singing on the thing, and it's like, oh, settle down, girl. Oh, I hope you have an awesome day too, Debbie. I hope your appointment goes well. It's your like water therapy, right? Can't think of what it's called right now. And I want you to start feeling all better. No more cold. Yeah, my youngest sister, she sings really nice. She actually sang for her husband's, um, well, I guess it's his half brother. So it's her brother-in-law, sang for his wedding last year and stuff, which is awesome that she could do that. Like, and to just have she was really nervous about it. She practiced a lot and stuff, but like, I could never I feel like even if I could sing, I would have a hard time singing in front of people. But, yeah, she's a pretty good singer, but my other sister and I, no. Not the Dana good singer, but just I would say she and I are kind of the same. Like, it's not like we sound horrible, like, we can, you know, keep a tune and stuff. I have an aunt, oh my gosh, she's so tone deaf, and, like, even my kids would be like, she doesn't sing often, but when she does, it's like the song is unrecognizable because I don't even know how you like, does she not hear it right? I don't understand because it's, like, so far off from what the song actually is. Um, but yeah, it, like, cracks me up. So we aren't like that, like, we're not tone deaf, we can sing in tune and, whatever, but it's just, like, not a great song. I would not be singing like Debbie does because Debbie can sing. I cannot. You would not want me to do that in my lives. We'll leave the singing to Debbie. Yes, I can torture my kids by singing too. It's so funny. Well, that's then sometimes like the, metalcore that we like, there are some singing parts, but a lot of it's screaming, basically. And so it's so funny because I laugh because I'm like, I just sort of like whisper those parts, like, and my son's like cracking up and he's like, no, I totally get it though. Like, Cody, if you can't scream, which I cannot scream like that, then how else do you? But I love the words. So it's like a funny type of singing. Yes, Penny. So my one nephew, when he was in school, he was in choir and apparently he has a good voice, but he would not sing for anybody. And he didn't do like solo things, but he wouldn't practice at home, nothing. Well, then his brother, so my other nephew, um, he was in choir too. And so I got to see him at things singing, but same thing. He didn't like, wouldn't like just sing, you know, for us to hear him. Like, I wanna hear your singing voice. But also too, and I mean, they might have great voices, I honestly have no idea because 'cause I've never actually heard them sing. But the reality is you don't have to have a good voice to be in choir because when your voice is being carried by a bunch of other people, I've known plenty of people who are in choir or in a choir at church or whatever, and if you listen to them sing, you're like, "Ooh." But it works out okay when they're balanced by all these other people. So I could probably sing in choir. Like, oh, I just hate like there's certain songs, even like worship songs sometimes, and it's like they're just at a place. I don't know if it's an octave. I don't know the words for music like that. But it's just too like low. So I can't sing that low. But if I sing higher, it doesn't sound right with it. So it's like I don't know how to sing it. And then, ever since I had my thyroid taken out, strangely, like, I have not had issues, like, the surgeon so they use this thing that basically is an electric thing, and they touch your vocal cords with it during surgery to make sure they're not damaging anything. And, basically what it does, how they can tell if it's okay, it, like, makes your vocal cords kinda, like, bounce. And, when I came out of surgery, my, surgeon, he's like, "Your throat's gonna be sore anyway," and he goes, "It might be a little extra sore, though." He's like, "Sorry, we were having some fun." He's like, "I had interns in there. You have amazing, like, vocal cords, the way that they respond to the," and he's like, "They were bouncing like crazy." Like, everyone had to see how they so I was, like, cracking up. Like, I wish that meant I could sing good. But, even before that, like certain songs, but now I feel like it happens too a lot where there are certain songs that I'll sing that it like makes my throat hurt. And actually, a couple weeks ago, I was saying on here that on my way home, I was singing like crazy in the car, some praise and worship music, and my throat hurt so bad. It's just like certain songs for whatever reason. But that also is somebody when you don't know how to sing because there's certain ways that you do things with your voice that don't cause that. Yeah, I can imagine that would make a total difference. Oh, that's funny, Sue. Penny, you hum. That's a safe way to do it. I've heard people who can't even hum a tune though. Like, I'm like, it's like people who can't clap, like who can't keep rhythm. Please don't try to clap. Just don't try to clap along with music because you're not. And it's so funny because my son, who's a drummer, that drives him totally nuts, which obviously people who are musical, it would drive totally nuts. Um, but he's like, people like at their different like band concerts and stuff like that, people would start like trying to clap like along with, but they're offbeat. And he's like, it is so annoying when you're like playing music and on, beat with stuff and like people are clapping off beat, he's like, it would just drive him totally nuts. But I'm like, it drives me nuts, and I'm not even like a musical person. But like, just know your limitations. If you can't clap to a rhythm, just don't. It's so funny. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't sing high, but I can't sing super low either. So I'm somewhere in the middle, and that doesn't work in a lot of songs, I feel like. Oh, that's so cool. I played the flute for a year, 5th grade. No, 7th grade. I played it in 7th grade. And then because my mom had played the flute, so I played her flute, but I just didn't pick up in it. But I wish I would've, I don't know, done something. Like, I wish when I was younger, I would have started, like, guitar. But the thing is, I feel like if you play the guitar, like, you sort of need to sing too. It's like a vibe. Like, you have to be able to do both, like, I don't know. You don't really, but there's just something about it. Like, if I could play the guitar, I would wanna be able to sing while I played, and since I don't have a great voice, it's like, but I've got a lot of, like, my oldest son, he took lessons for, like, maybe a year, but otherwise he kind of has taught himself to play guitar. And then Riley's a drummer, but he can play a little guitar, he plays bass. Um, and like I've got cousins and uncles and stuff who all play guitar and stuff. So it's really fun because like if we're camping and stuff, they'll all get out their guitars and play around the fire and stuff. I love that. And then we all sing and stuff. And of course it sounds better because it's a group. But I just have never learned to do anything like that, and I wish I would have. And I don't picture myself being able to start now. Oh, that's cool. I also just learned this year that there's no difference between a violin and a fiddle. I thought they were 2 different instruments, but it's just the way you play them. Oh, Carla, I'm so sorry you haven't been feeling good. I'm so glad you're here, though. Saxophone or nothing, so it was nothing. Yeah. I never wanted to play anything that you needed a reed for. I was so grossed out by, like, the band kids sucking on reeds before they're I'm like, "Mm-mm, no, not me, not my jam." I can appreciate the sound of those instruments, but I don't wanna do that. And we have I mean, drumming goes on in our house all the time, like, several times a day, there's drumming going on, and I'm totally fine with it. Like, I'm so used to it, I don't even really think about it. And that's a lot of times then he always though comes up and says, "I'm gonna drum. Is that okay? Or is it okay if I drum?" Just to make sure we're not doing something that it would be disruptive. And it really never is. But even with recording, there's been several times where I've wondered if you could hear, and I'm like, I decided to record after he's already playing, and I'm not gonna go tell him, "Hey, stop doing that so I can record." I never once have been able to hear it in the um like when I'm editing. So apparently my phone does a good job of canceling out that noise. Yeah, when people can play the saxophone, it does sound really good for sure. I know. I love like music like that, or even like when my niece was just in Newsies at school, their production, and like the band's playing and the orchestra pit, whatever. I love that, just the sound of the music, like live music like that and stuff. Actually, my son got to do a couple cool things. There was a grand opening of like a hotel in Detroit. And so there were like 5 or 6 of them, I think, that they took down there. Actually, my husband went with them um, to play, and it was like jazz band, like they played jazz music. So he was drumming jazz music and whatever. And which he always actually kind of enjoyed the jazz, like playing jazz stuff on the drums. I mean, that's not what he plays at home really. But for band, he liked that. And so it was pretty cool because it was like this swanky hotel and they're playing their little jazz music and people are having hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So that was really cool. Kind of wish I had like been there. I definitely love drumming. It's funny because think about back to like when he first said he wanted to be a drummer, you could tell the kid was going to be a drummer. He just drummed on everything. And like before he ever took any kind of, got into band or anything. And then when we went to buy his first kit for Christmas one year, we were kind of talking to the guy and telling him like and he's like, "Oh, that's a drummer. Like that kid's a drummer." And so then he would like get awards and stuff all the time. And it was cool to hear from other people because like we thought he sounded good, but I don't know anything about music, and you're like, "Oh, my kid sounds good." But then like other people would be like, "Wow, like he's really good." And so I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like this is awesome," because he would still love to do something more with it. Like he he knows he needs to have like a job. I mean, he has a job, but like he would love to be able to, you know, do something with music that makes money someday or something too, even if it's just like a side gig thing that he does. And which I would love to be able to see him do that because he's got just so much passion for it. But yeah, he didn't love like the marching band thing. Well, and then he went to take lessons, and I don't even think he lasted a year. Like the guy basically couldn't really teach. He already knew like what the guy was trying to teach him. He's like, there's no point in paying for lessons because it wasn't here, it was beyond that. So that was kind of cool too. And he was young. I mean, he was in middle school, I think, but I love listening to him drum. I love when people can play. You have to get through those years of band with young kids when like their instruments are squeaking and stuff like that. That kind of stuff. And then though once they start being able, it's so cool. Our band director at our school, we have a very small school, but he is phenomenal. And I love seeing the difference just between 5th grade and 6th grade band because the kids here start in 5th grade in band and they only have it like once a week, I think. Yeah, 5th grade has it once a week. And then once you get over in 6th grade, I think that's when you start taking it as like a class and like one of your electives. And so you have it every day. And so the difference between the 5th grade kids who have band once a week and are just learning and getting in, um, introduced to reading music and, stuff like that, to hear then the 6th graders, it's like a whole different thing. And then to hear like the whole like ensemble band and like the they have marching band, but then they have concert band and stuff like that. Like the high school to hear how and we're a small school, it's a small band, but the sound is amazing. And it's like it's just so cool to see that like progression. Oh, proved her wrong, huh? That's the best thing. Like, it's always amazing to me, like, who thinks that they can tell people, like, "You can't do this," or "You're not capable of this," you know what I mean? Like, um, and I know some people do it because they know it lights a fire under somebody that they're gonna prove you wrong, but still, like, I could never be that person who's like, "Yeah, I just don't think you're cut out for this." Like, even if you're not, like, couldn't say it. I can't even imagine. Ugh. There was something I wanted to tell you guys about. Now I don't remember what it was. I need to get back to my basement because, well, my friend Jenny said to me, she's like, "Oh, so you're coming back into town next week then for lunch at our one friend's house?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, you can take a load of stuff to Goodwill." And I'm like, "You're so right." Like that's already what I've been thinking about because I haven't done it now in probably like a month. Um, And I'm like, I have a bag going of stuff, but I know there's so much more. Like I need to get back into my basement because actually the bag of stuff is from my room from when I just was cleaning stuff in there. And I took a bunch of stuff to my sisters for Easter. I was like, you can have this and this. Like, here you go. It was funny because I'm like, I've got like a bunch of skincare things and stuff that I'm like, I cannot possibly use all this. So I'm like, okay, things that I know I really like, I'm gonna keep, so I'll use them. Things that I'm not. Oh, because the other day, you guys, oh my gosh. So I had this happen to me last summer, I think. I started using well, it was Mother's Day. I won a giveaway, and it was a bunch of my. Oh no, that wasn't that one. I did win that giveaway, but that's not where I got this from. It was a different giveaway, but it was like late spring, early summer, I think. And, it was this skincare company and, shoes. It was, 2 different companies. And, the skincare, you can get it at, like, Target and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, cool, like, if it's something I like, then, I know I can get it." So I started using this moisturizer. It did the weirdest thing to my skin. I've never ever had this in my life. It was, like, bumpy, but they were, like, big, kinda circly bumps that were, like, raised and kind of white. Not white, but lighter than, like, my other skin, and it was all along my jawline right here. And, hi, Maggie. Hello, hello. Um, and it was, like, just the weirdest thing, and it was, like, itchy, like, my face was itchy and stuff, and just they were really dry. And so I stopped using it. Well, I ended up giving it to my mom, and my mom liked it. My mom has really dry skin, actually, and, but she ended up really liking it. So I was like, "There must be some ingredient in it that just didn't jive with my face," right? So I was going through stuff because 'cause I've been decluttering my makeup and stuff. So the highlight video is already out. I already have, um, blush and bronzers, recorded. Actually, blush is already edited and everything, but so I've been going through my makeup. And so I was going through skincare stuff and I'm like, "Oh, I've got some of the stuff that I had just bought that Origins ginseng moisturizer because I loved the sample one I got in Ipsy. So I went and bought like a full size one. But I'm like, okay, well, this I know is new. So maybe I should stick that to the side and use some of this other stuff that I've got here. So I started using this. Well, here's the problem. I don't know yet because I even have to test things out. But it's like you don't even want to test it because I don't want to do that to my face. So then I'm like, do I just give this to somebody and not even bother? But it might be really good. I don't know. So I have the Laneige like sleeping mask, okay, for your face. So I used that at night. And the next morning I used this Saturday Skin moisturizer. And it's more like a gel moisturizer, which is what I typically like. And I think I used it for two. No, it was just one because it was that next morning. I didn't use the Laneige sleeping mask again. But that next morning, I put that moisturizer on. I was like, ugh. And I looked and my skin was starting to do that again with those bump things and stuff. And it was itchy. I'm like, what the heck? So I was like, okay, it's either the Laneige sleeping mask or the Saturday Skin moisturizer. And it was right before my birthday and stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to mess with it right now because I don't want my skin to be a mess when I'm like trying to feel pretty for my birthday and go out and stuff. And but then I started thinking, I'm like, shoot, I also had just put a new little, I like to use the little cleansers that I get in Ipsy. I stick them in my shower. So like that's what I'll use when I'm in the shower to wash my face. So they're just whatever. So I just switched one because the other one was out. So now I don't know if it was that caused it. So I'm like, dang it. So I used that yesterday, last night when I was in the shower. And my face is itchy right now, but I think it's because I'm talking about it. Because I did not see any bumps like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try just using that first. If that doesn't do anything, try one of the other products again for a little while. I'm like, I need to like figure out what it is. Oh, purging even after moving. Yeah, I bet. You realize how much stuff you have that you really don't need or want. Isn't it crazy, Sue? Like because you have a disability, people, like, discount you for several other things. Because that's how my husband's aunt was, like, she was born with spina bifida, they didn't even think she was gonna live through the night, they didn't even let her parents see her, she was born at home. They thought they were gonna have to cut her up to get her out of my husband's grandma because she had a club foot and stuff, so the shape of her body and the way her leg was, like, stiff and stuff, they had a very hard time getting like, even getting her out, and she was yeah, like I said, she was born at home, I think I said that, and, so the doctor, like, they took the baby right away and did not let her parents see her, which is weird. Like, if you don't think she's gonna live through the night, why don't you let them have her? Like, I don't know, but, things were weird then. And, because she's gonna be 82 in August. But they said, "Oh, she'll never live to be a year old. Oh, she'll never walk." Oh, she'll never. Well, she went on and she got a PhD. She was a college professor. She moved to another state and lived by herself, and she walked and stuff. And all these things that, everyone kept saying that she would never be able to do. And what? People don't know. People need to shush. Yeah, Penny, I am thinking that too, like a mix of the things. That's why I'm like, okay, so I'll just add like one thing at a time. And if I notice something, then I can okay, back off. Maybe I need to then let go of that thing because I know if I at least know that cleanser by itself is fine. Okay. But then it could be a mix of a cleanser and one of those products. So, and I'm like, it was really stupid to start even two new skincare products at the same time. But then when I realized it was three, I'm like, well, you doof. Like, hello. We get excited too because I'm like, ooh, ooh, I've got this and I want to try this. Yeah, but your skin doesn't. It's a great big no, thank you. No, no. I'm surprised. Eh, let's see. I'm surprised my husband and my son aren't home from school. I told my husband earlier when I got home, I'm like, I am so used to somebody being home. Because my middle son, his work schedule, he worked evenings Wednesday or Thursday through Sunday typically and stuff. But he started a new job. And so his schedule is completely different. And then of course, Asher was home for spring break and then Easter break. It felt like they were right with each other. And then so he was home a lot and stuff. And I'm like, it's like there's been people home constantly. So then to come home to an empty house, I was like, oh, this feels yuck. I don't like it. Very weird. My face is so itchy right now, and I know it's because I was talking about that and kept touching my face. I feel like when I go to my mom and dad's from their cats, my face will just start to itch, and I'm like, "Oh, don't touch it, don't touch it," because as soon as I touch it, it's then it's going crazy. I get hives; they all just start moving up my face. Oh, it's awful. I know. I'm like, don't touch it. Get your hands off your face. Don't touch your face. My grandma would say that all the time. Stop touching your face. Don't touch your face. But I used to have acne issues so bad when I was young. And then when I got a little bit older, I had cystic acne so bad along my jawline and stuff. Like ridiculous. But actually, not my hair is tickling it. Everything's going to make me feel like I need to touch my face. Don't touch your face. My grandma's like, you have all those germs on your hands and oils and you're touching your face. I know, grandma. I forgot my husband he was fixing a computer for a lady yesterday, brought it home to finish it, and then so he's over taking that to her. Yeah, that's what well, and at my mom and dad's, I just have to keep washing my hands because if I touch anything, because the cat, they're up on the back of the couch or whatever. It's so anywhere that they've been, if I'm touching it and then touch my face or something, I'm like, ugh. But the thing is, sometimes it's like I don't even have to touch anything. Sometimes I can get there and be there the whole time and it never happens. And then other times I can walk in the door and be standing talking and feel it start doing it. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, why does it, sometimes it doesn't seem to affect me much at all. Sometimes it makes me where my eyes are swollen and itchy. Cats are so cute. I love them, but they destroy me. Oh, okay. Yeah, our kids have always gotten off Good Friday and Easter Monday. But my sister, her school, they went to school yesterday. I was like, really? Because Sunday at my other sister's house, we're like, oh, the kids are talking about how late are you staying? I'm like, well, we're not in any kind of rush. There's not school or anything tomorrow. And my nieces are like, we have school tomorrow. I'm like, what? And my sister's like, yeah, we have school tomorrow. I'm like, what the heck? I Penny, I would say the dander because they never like, I rarely ever pet them or anything either because, well, for one thing, I don't really like my parents' cats. They're not like the one cat is a little jerk. Like she is for one thing, she's like creepy looking and she just randomly it's like she comes by you, like she wants you to pet her and she will attack the living crap out of you. Like she makes people bleed all the time. She'll just bite people. I hate cats like that. So I don't even let the cat come anywhere near me. Like I see if she starts coming along the couch, I get up and walk away. Like I will not be anywhere near that cat. Um, and then they have one cat that's really nice, but she kind of stays away. When there's a lot of people around, the cats like don't even come around. Um, but so typically they're not even really around me. Like it's just it must be dander because it must be like in the air and stuff. She has school on Good Friday. Isn't that yeah, that's so weird. I don't know why it's not just universal everywhere, like with stuff like that, because it's kind of annoying. Like well, like that, because my sister was like, her and my 3 nieces had to go home earlier than everybody, earlier than us and stuff because they had school the next day. It's like, that kinda stinks, like, I don't know. Like, don't they know we're trying to have fun here? Uh, it's so weird too because, like, my husband works for the school, but he doesn't get all the stuff off that like the kids have. He works all summer and stuff like and so like even at Christmas he gets Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas off. And then of course, depending on how that falls, if it's on a weekend, it's not really like he's getting much off anyway. But he takes vacation days during those times to be able to be home. But yeah, it's like that part kind of stinks. Um, oh, okay. But it's so weird, like, thinking about that Asher just has 1 year left, and then my husband, we can go whenever, and, like so this time of year is, like, my husband's best time of the year for work because that's what he always is able to take my birthday off of work and spend the day with me and stuff because he's not in high demand this time of year. In the fall, basically all the way through until about starting in March, things slow down for him. So, like the month leading up to school, and then until about March is when he's like it wears him out. So I'm so glad like when this time of year comes around because it's like he just is able to chill. And then in the summer he works, but he can kind of pick his days. So a lot of times he does like four tens so that he can have 3-day weekends and stuff, and of course, he can get so much more done because there's no kids, no teachers or anything. He's, like, the only one in the building, so a lot of times. So, that's nice for him to be able to get stuff done. I mean, he's a super social person, so it's not like he hates being around the people or something, but just as far as, like, the amount of work that you can get done, obviously, is a lot more when there's not, you know, people pulling you in different directions. He also is somebody who can't say no. So it's, instead of being able to say, well, actually, I can't get to that right now. I'm sorry. I'll have to get back to you later. He leaves from what he's doing to go do it. Then he forgets where he was or what he had, or he gets, then now somebody pulls him from that place that he went to. And so then he's like never finishing things that he's trying to get done, 'cause he doesn't wanna tell people no, he wants to help everybody, and everyone really appreciates him, like, he is very well liked where he works, so I'm glad that he's appreciated and things like that, like, that's not an issue, he loves his job, um, but he married someone like that. He couldn't say no to you. But I'm that kind of person too. We were actually laughing, we went, out to eat, which I'll talk about that in a different video, but, with my friend or with our friends the other night, and talking about how he and I are both very indecisive people. Like we're both just like, I don't care. Well, whatever you want. Well, I don't care. But then it's like, okay, we need to make a decision here kind of on things. And so we were saying to our friends, we're like, literally, seriously, please just choose because neither of us care. Like I said, if I feel really strongly about I said that really weird, strongly about something like that I don't want to do it, I'll say, I'd really rather not that, or whatever. But for the most part, that's never really going to happen. And it's easier if you just say, hey, why don't we do this? Because it's probably just going to be fine to us, kind of thing. And so we're laughing about it. Like, we're both like that. We're both bad. I've gotten so much better about saying no as I'm getting older. And that was because of my best friend. She definitely helped me with that. Um, but so that's I'm like, Anne, you need to talk to Brian, make him realize, like you made me realize, like, can't say yes to everybody because people take advantage of that. And it just makes you miserable because you're being pulled in too many directions. Yes. Will someone make up their mind already? Seriously. Like for he and I, it's like whatever. Like, "Oh, I don't care." "Well, I don't care either." "Well, you pick," or, something, and then I'll be like, "Just pick." Like, and so then he will or whatever. But, when we're with, like, a group of people, I'm really not that I'm not picky about stuff, so if it's deciding a place to go eat, I truly do not care, so I would rather somebody who actually does have an opinion on it choose because I'm fine with it, you know what I mean? Like, but it's good, Penny. It is good to be able to say no. Like, I mean, obviously, people who just say no to everything, that's not good. But there are things that it's like, I just know in the moment it might be a little bit uncomfortable to say no because I, it's like you don't want to disappoint people or something. However, it's not worth it to make myself miserable. So it's like, just say no, get through that little bit of a discomfort that they are probably not going to even think anything of. It's just you overthinking because I do that and then move on. Okay, so I do not have a hard time saying no to my children. My husband does. And that's I was I'm like, you are a sucker. I keep saying things so weird because I was thinking pushover, but I said sucker. But he is a pushover and a sucker. As far as stuff like that with the kids. I'm like, just tell them no. Like they don't need that or whatever. And he's like, yeah, but I'm like, I do not have a problem with telling the kids no. I'm like, sure, make me the mean guy. Yeah, I get that, and it's good to be able to be someone who can go with the flow for most things, unless it's something where then it's putting you, in a super uncomfortable situation or something like that, then but for the most part, I'm like that, like, yeah, we'll go to the movies, I don't even really care what it is, if we're, like, going out with other people or whatever. Now, if it's with my husband, I'm gonna pick something that I wanna see too, you know what I mean? Like, that we both really wanna see, but if it's more like of a like, we're going out with friends to the movies and out to eat, I'm not really so picky about it, kinda thing, because it's more like a outing, like a social thing with your friends. But, yeah, if it's just us, then I'm gonna be like, "I don't wanna see that movie." Oh, I bet she does, Penny. Well, she's cute. Oh, yeah. See, grandkids might be a totally different story once they come along. But that's the cool thing about being a grandparent, which is a big part of why I have always said, like, I don't wanna be a grandma who is like a full-time babysitter of my grandkids and stuff. I want grandma and grandpa time to be special, exciting time? And so I'm like, I want it to be where it's like, you're like, "Yeah, we can do that." You know what I mean? I mean, to a certain extent, yes. Obviously, there are things that I would say no about, but I think you definitely there's like a little bit of a softening compared to your own kids about stuff like but also too, typically by the time you're having grandkids, things are different as far as like finances and stuff. If you don't have your own kids all at home that you're buying groceries and school clothes and paying for pay to play and whatever, like all these things that they cost, then you have more freedom with that kind of stuff to be able to say yes to things for grandkids. So I feel like it's just kind of and Penny, there's nothing wrong with being strict. Like yeah, like like I said, my mother-in-law thought I was way too strict with my kids when they were young, And then later was like, I know now why you did what you did, and like you raised really good kids, like respectful boys and stuff. And that was the thing. I'm like, I just don't want that to be. I don't know. I'm also like, was never like the, oh, are you okay? Oh, it's like, you're all right. Like, get up, and my kids have never had broken bones or anything. So, like, but I didn't do like I'm not big on babying. Um, I hate like baby talk to kids. Like, they're people, just talk to them. Like, weird words for things and stuff. Like, I'm just like, no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't wanna be like the kind of grandma who's like a total pushover and like your kids are ticked at you because you just let their kids do whatever. Like, I don't wanna be like that. But I mean, just, more things that you're like, "Oh, yes, Maggie, that is totally fair. I'm with you there. If they make you wait that long, then they get what they get." Yes, respect, manners, absolutely. That stuff all comes first. Because there are way too many spoiled people out there who just think that everything should go the way they want it to, and if it doesn't, everybody else catches heck for it. I'm not even about that. Like, I would die if my kids acted the way some people, like, I see some people act, and, like, as adults too. The way some people act is just incredible to me. I'm like, clearly no one ever taught you anything about being a decent human being. Like, some people are, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, no. You always say thank you, it doesn't matter who it's to. Ugh. Yeah, that makes sense, Maggie. I get that. But, like, that's a hard thing too. Like, even with my sister, when her kids were little, um, I I've always been like a, "No, you can't do that," or, like, if they're gonna hurt themselves. Well, like, I one time I said that to one of the twins about she was, like, gonna put something in a light socket, and I said or electrical outlet, whatever you call it, and, I said, "Oh, no," whatever. Well, she started to cry, like, it startled her, and she started to cry, and my sister's like, "Oh," like, "You scared her, you," and I'm like, "Well, okay, she needs to be scared, like, that's not something I'm not being mean, like, part of it was just out of instinct, like, "Oh my gosh," like, she's about to electrocute herself. Um, but like, but then she's over like, "Oh, it's okay, da, da, da." And I'm like, "Okay, but like, also let me go to her and do that so that she knows like I'm not mad at her. Like but like I don't want her to do that. You know what I mean? Kind of thing." So it's so hard because some people like the way they handle things is so different than the way you do. And like I wasn't being mean, but to her it was like, "Oh, that like she thinks you're being mean." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that makes it a little hard. Oh, I know, Penny. It's terrible. Ugh, yeah. And like entitled kids become entitled adults, and the rest of us have to deal with them, and it is not fun. Oh, no problem, Penny. I actually probably will be getting off of here because my husband and son should be getting home pretty soon. And then my husband and I are headed out to get a new picture, hopefully from Hobby Lobby. So hopefully my reindeer will be making his trek off of my kitchen wall. It's time. I mean, it did snow yesterday, so I guess it was somewhat appropriate. I was laughing too because I caught myself singing "There's No Place Like Home" for the holidays, and I'm like, "Why am I singing that?" And I'm like, "I think because the snow." My husband's like laughing. That was pretty funny. I'm like, "Oh, we're singing that and got a reindeer on our wall." So hey. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head off so we can go do that. And but I'm so glad that you guys were here. Don't forget, I will not be live next week because I am going to my friend's house for lunch. So I'm excited about that. She makes, oh my gosh, she said she's going to make the lettuce wraps again. So I'm super excited. And she's making me tiramisu for my birthday. She was like, "What do you want? I'll make you a birthday treat." So she actually suggested that. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, homemade. Heck yeah." So Yes, cool and windy weather, be gone. Let's have beautiful spring, sunny weather, and it just makes you feel better. I wanna get out and get, like, soak up a little sun and just you know what I mean? Just feel that warmth on you. It's amazing, so but thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys, and, I hope you have an awesome week next week, and, yeah, I'll have to come on and show you guys my tattoo. Maybe I'll do a video of that or something. So I'm super excited to get it. So, all right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.